Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is RJ. So today I'm going to be giving you my 2 cents on Gala games. We're going to be looking at Townstar and the latest competition, and I'm also going to be sort of delving into the NFT situation, so keep watching.
Howdy y'all, so I'm the rancher here in Townstar, or as it's now known, Common Ground. Today I think RJ will be discussing Gala games and also giving his advice to players and particularly new players when purchasing NFTs for Townstar. Remember, don't forget to put your comments and questions below the video, and if this is your first time visiting RJ's channel and you want to learn more about how to earn cryptocurrency for free, about cloud mining sites, crypto investments, and lots of other crypto-related stuff, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you're alerted to all of his new content as it comes online. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so here we are in Gala Games, and big thanks to the rancher from Townstar for that great intro. And like she says, basically we're going to be discussing Gala Games, and I'm also going to be giving my advice, and it is my advice and my opinion on purchasing NFTs, and obviously particularly for Townstar, just to help you guys out. Because the thing is there's so many NFTs now in this game. Some are really good and great value for money, and others are not so. And I'm just sort of, for those, members that are not sort of fully au fait with the game or with what the NFTs do, it's just sort of a bit of quick advice that just might help you if you are looking to invest and purchase NFTs for the game. So basically the first thing we're going to be talking about is Gala Games itself. Now obviously in previous videos I have alluded to the fact that they have been, if not still are, involved with various legal issues. Now the reason why I'm sort of broaching this subject is basically because I constantly started to hear a lot of people talking about this is the end of Gala Games, blah 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 blah. Obviously you're always going to get those people that have negativity that will basically straight away jump to that conclusion that that's it, it's all over, it's done. It's the same as other programs that I promote on my channel. As soon as something slightly off happens, everyone's, oh, it's a scam, that's it, they've ripped us off, they're taking all our money, blah 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 blah. And then a week or a month later everything gets sorted out and it's just back to normal. But yet what always makes me laugh with those people is no one ever goes, oh, okay, I was wrong. After absolutely slating the developers or slating the program itself, when it all comes back to normal and everything starts paying out and working again, no one ever, you never hear anybody go, yeah, actually, I'm really sorry about everything I said. But anyway, and they're still quite happy to take the withdrawals. But like I say, they never apologize for these things. I think far too many people are quick to jump to these conclusions. But also as well, you have those people that simply want to stir the pot. But so basically when it comes down to the legal problems, I'm not going to go into a huge amount of details about it. In fact, I'm not even going to really discuss it at all. But if you are someone that really wants to know and get to grips what has happened, go and check out my man Lycan Warlord's YouTube channel. Admittedly, he's not Gala's favorite influencer, but he is going to give you the lowdown on what is going on. He also discusses various other things and various other games that you might find interesting, so go and check him out. It is a great channel. He's a very entertaining guy, but like I say, he's got all that information about the legal things. But all I'm going to say is that basically, I'm just going to talk quickly about my relationship with Gala Games. Obviously, I won't take too long. So basically, I got in and connected with Townstar late 2019, and in the early days they were not, they were running the competitions, but they were not sort of paying out rewards, which is why I left. Because after 2 months of playing, and at the time you're only the top 100 actually got any rewards, and spending a lot of hours, as we know that Townstar does take up, that basically I was getting no rewards. And at the end of, every, when you're on Discord, all they kept saying is, yeah, next week we'll be hopefully we'll be doing rewards, and then we'll do another competition. Still no rewards. So basically, I just got a bit fed up with it and I walked away. Admittedly, if I'd hung out, I'd persevered with it, which a lot of people did, I probably would be one of those whale accounts that everybody talks about. So anyway, that didn't happen. And obviously, I kind of kicked myself for it. But then I returned 2020, which is when I really started doing content for Townstar and producing all my how-to videos, which obviously I will link to in the description, and I will also put a link to the playlist for all those how-to videos at the end of this video if you are interested. So anyway, 2020, things, that's basically when I really started playing. Now, the thing is with Gala games, I love Townstar, and I don't necessarily have a respect for Gala games itself, because for me and a lot of other people will say they have done some very questionable things, especially when it comes towards the members. But what I do have a respect for was when they came into crypto space and looking at Web3 and all that kind of stuff, they basically announced that they wanted to be the go-to place and hub for pretty much all P2E gaming and Web3 gaming, and that was what they wanted to be. They just wanted to be this massive hub where not only would they produce some of their own games, but basically what they wanted to do was attract as many really high-end software houses to produce really great games, which would then sit in the Gala space, and basically everyone would flock here to play those games. That was the point, and that was what I had a respect for, was that they didn't just do what a lot of other software houses have done, like the games that are connected with Engine. I mean, there's tons of those which are really good games. You can earn Engine crypto through them, but essentially, they are pretty low key. Unless you go searching for them, you don't really see or hear a lot about them. Whereas Gala just made this massive splash. This is what we're going to do, and that is what they set out to do. And like I say, for that, I have a big respect for. Now, obviously, as time has gone on, they have, like I say, they have done some very questionable things towards, with the games, and even towards the software houses they've dealt with. Apparently, I don't know, again, the whole ins and outs with a lot of stuff that's gone on in the background. But the thing is, what you have to realize, and this is the real important thing, is that Gala is a business. And with business, to continue moving forward and continue to attain the goals that you set, sometimes you have to do things that not everybody is gonna like, and because it's done in the name of business, it's not done in the name of, yes, we want to help our members, yes, we want to create more fun games. It's a case of, if we don't do this, we're going to cease to exist. And that's why I think a lot of the stuff they've done in the past has ended up with a lot of negativity, but I think a lot of it has been done because it's been a business decision. Now, at the same time, when I started playing in 2020 properly, there was only a few metas. So that, like we had Blue Steel, we had uniforms, I guess they brought in the energy meta. There was only a few, and the good thing with that was that it was great for me because I could produce how-to builds, and I could just do that once, and it would sit there and it would help hundreds of people because they could all just see that, okay, that's how to do the build, that's the optimal way of doing it. So it was good in that way. But then And then obviously they started introducing NFTs for those various builds, which again, the great thing with back then was a lot of those NFTs gave really good utility and were usable in multiple different metas. Now, this is where I think Gala started going a bit wrong. And I think their focus shifted from pushing forward and creating this great hub and space for people to come and play and software houses to input their games to, more towards making money. Now, like I say, as a business, you've got to make money. You know, if you don't have money, you can't then move to the next step and stuff like that. But the only problem with this and what they did was, I think it was a little bit underhanded and definitely not in the best interest of members. So basically at this point, what they did was they started to create single metas. So rather than having a meta that would be used regularly, they would create metas that might only get used once, or it would get used once that, you know, let's say 1 month, and then 3 months later it might get used again. And the reason why they did this, I believe, is because they suddenly clicked to the fact that they could produce NFTs or bespoke NFTs purely for those metas. Now, what that meant was, obviously there's a lot of people invested, a lot of people have put in a lot of time, and also because of the competitive nature of the competitions, everybody wanted to do well because they know if they did do well, they would earn more Gala, and also the adding of the free sort of ghost card NFTs that gave your towns boosts, they were added. So it gave people sort of a reason to want to do better and better every meta. But the thing is that every meta, newer and newer NFTs were being created. But like I say, the main thing is that they were bespoke NFTs, particularly to those metas. So let's say, for instance, one of the metas recently I heard a lot about was particularly one of the jewelry metas. They produced an NFT which cost quite a lot of money. People bought it, and then I don't think it really ever got used again until very, very recently. Maybe in the last competition we had was a jewelry meta. That particular NFT might have got used in that meta. I actually didn't play in that meta, so I'm not 100% sure. But the thing is people are spending hundreds of dollars on these NFTs. And the thing is, if you've only got an NFT that only works in one meta, and that meta only gets maybe played once every 6 months, that means that every NFT you have in your inventory owes you. So, because essentially, I know Gala doesn't like to say it's an investment, but essentially you are paying for something, and until you sort of earn enough Gala back through those competitions, it still owes you. So let's say you've spent $300 to $500 on an NFT, you play in a particular meta. In that meta, you earn $100 back of Gala. Well, then that NFT that you purchased particularly for that meta still owes you $200 to $400, you know, and that's how I look at it. Obviously, this is my opinion. Again, this is nothing else. It's just my opinion. And so that's what you've got to be aware of. And I personally believe that these single-use metas, even though many people go, "Oh, it's great. I bought it. It helped me do really well in the competition." But again, you know, you're winning Gala, which is only worth 3 to 4 cents per Gala, but you're paying out dollars. And if you've paid out, like I say, $300 or $500, and you're only earning at the bet, let's say, $100 of Gala, I'd be stoked if I earned $100 of Gala from a competition. But recently, because obviously I've only just come back to it in the last 2 competitions, I've only earned 100 Gala, and obviously even at best at 4 cents per token, that's not a lot coming back. And this is where you've got to be, a bit clever when it comes to purchasing your NFTs, but we'll get into that later. So finally, what I'm going to say is, I believe with all this stuff going on that Gala will continue. Even though, like I say, I don't really advocate a lot of the stuff that they've done, but I also know that some of the stuff they've done was purely for business reasons. So, but like I say, when this whole thing came about with these, the NFTs and then, that kind of stuff, that's sort of when I sort of lose a bit of respect for the platform and for the people behind that. But like I say, even though these legal things are hanging over them, I actually don't think they will go anywhere. I think, my opinion, what is going to happen is somewhere down the line, if it hasn't happened already, there will be a payoff. They will come to some kind of arrangement. There will be a payoff, and then Gala will simply continue forward, pushing towards their goal of being this huge hub for P2E and Web3 gaming. That is what I believe will happen. I actually don't really see Gala disappearing. So for those of you that, might be worried, obviously, again, it's my opinion. Don't put huge amount of stock in what I'm saying. It is my opinion. But obviously, I have been around Gala and seen what they've done for quite some time and how things have panned out. And, even of people leaving, people being sacked, games coming in, games going out, all this kind of stuff. And yet they're still here. And like I say, with this these legal issues going on, I do believe that all that's going to happen is there'll be some kind of settlement and Gala will continue. And I also believe that once Gala gets past this and, starts bringing in more and more games and, these games become more and more popular, all that's going to happen is the token is going to become worth more and more. So on that note, what I'm going to talk about now is NFTs and how I believe or what NFTs you guys should be looking at. So let's go into my account. So if we drop into inventory, the first thing I'll show you as well is, in fact, if we go into here first and go here, recent activity, that is from the last competition. So not the last competition, which was the jewelry competition, but the one before that, which was the mead. I was so close to breaking the top 1,000. I think I ended up like 1,100 or 1,010 or something. It definitely had it had 1,001 in there. So we were so close to 999, breaking that top 1,000. It wouldn't have made any difference to what I earn, but right now, even though obviously the main thing is to be in the top 1,200 because that's where we're earning this Gala. But if we can break that top 1,000, then it's break the top 800, the top 900, top 800, eventually getting into that sort of 600 area, which we then start earning more Gala. And just pushing through, and that's sort of what I'm trying to get back into sort of understanding how to put these builds together for the best production and and things like that. So like I say, that is what we earned from the last competition. You'll see here I did purchase this town hall at basically $9.99. That is because it was at a 90% discount, and I actually believe this town hall is worth buying, especially for $10, because I do think it gives great utility and pretty much, and you can basically use it in any build, and it's still going to give you a boost. So that's cool. So anyway, I'm going to drop into the inventory. So, and we're going to check out the my NFTs. So one of the first things as a player, and obviously, you know, this is only if you want to invest in these things. I would say if for starters, I would say before you start getting into the big NFTs, go on to somewhere like NFT Harbor, or even check out Lycan Warlords. Go and join his Discord. Be careful though; they do have a marketplace on there. I've bought many NFTs through that marketplace. Most of the people there are really good traders. What you want to do is, if you are looking to use that marketplace, just post a post in the marketplace itself, and just sort of ask a few people who the best verified sellers are, and then maybe go with those. But like I say, I've bought numerous NFTs through that LWG marketplace, and I've been really happy with the sort of interactions with the sellers there. So anyway, if you are new to Townstar, but you are looking to sort of put a little bit of money in just to boost your builds, first, what I would say is, so basically what I would suggest is getting some of these what are known as ghost cards. So basically what they are essentially the free NFT cards that you can earn when playing the game. Now that's going to be things like greasy wheels, the garment specialist, which is, we're going to be using that today in today's build for the competition. Gala master, you know, crafted baker or gifted baker, these kind of ones. And basically what they'll do is that will give a boost to your mine. Again, we'll be using that today. We're going to be using this today. That's going to give a boost to my water factories. This is going to give a boost to my garment warehouses and stuff like that. We'll be using this one today because that's going to give a boost to my ceramics factory. I'll also probably be using this today because I'm going to be using my wheat stand to feed some sheep. And then you're going to be using this because that's going to give a boost to your lumber mills and things like that. Because all of these, you know, obviously if you get things like, I mean, if you started off with things like, let's say your lumber mill, let's say if that's the only one you bought, you use lumber mills in basically every single build. So if you got that is going to speed up your production of lumber. So that is just going to help you, you know, and straight off you can go and buy these. I don't know how expensive. Obviously I've got epic. You can get uncommon. You can get rare, legendary versions of it. I think I've got one legendary card, which was if I can find it, Great Woodlands. Here we go. That is ancient. So that's even better than legendary. So that is, I think. So that basically what that is. Again, you're going to use that in every single build, because that is going to make your tree farms grow a lot faster. And what that means is you can actually use less tree farms because they're growing a lot faster. Therefore, you don't need so many. And then what does that do? That gives you spare tiles. So that means that you can put more, you know, other things. So, you know, like if you need, I don't know, wheat or cotton or something, you can plant them in the spaces that you've got your tree, or you would have had your trees, but because you've got the Great Woodlands, which speeds up the tree farms growing, that means, like I say, you gain squares back. And basically with these builds, the more, you know, basically squares you can gain back, that means you can improve your build because you can always add more stuff in, which is going to increase your productivity and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I'd say. If you're going to start off and you just want stuff to boost your towns, go for these. Go on into NFT Harbor, or like I say, Lycan Warlords open market. But with that, just be very careful. Obviously, NFT Harbor is absolutely brilliant. I've used that a couple times. It's seamless, and obviously you get the NFT straight into your account. And the other thing is, obviously, you're not messing around. You're using the Gala that you've earned through those competitions that's already in your account to buy them. So whereas with Lycan Warlords market, you can obviously still use your Gala, but the big difference is there's no intermediary. Whereas with NFT Harbor, basically the money gets put into escrow, and until basically the trade is done, that money just sits there, and then obviously the trade is done, the money goes to the seller and the NFT comes to the buyer. But because there's that intermediary thing, there's no chance of really you losing anything. Whereas with the Lycan Warlord open market, it comes purely down to trust. So that's where you've got to be careful. And like I say, if you're going to use that, put a post onto his marketplace and just maybe ask who are the most trusted and verified sellers there. So that's my advice. Like I say, if you're starting off, just get some of these ghost cards. Like I say, I would say that the Woodlands one, the Gilded Blades one, possibly the Gusty Wind one, because we do use mills for producing flour and wool quite a lot. And go for the ones that you can use in the most builds. That's what you want to look at, and that's with the same with any NFT. You've got to look at utility and which ones can you use in almost every single build. So the next thing, so from this point, where would I then suggest that you go? So you've got yourself a few ghost cards, you've boosted your account, you started to make some headway, you're earning yourself some Gala, and now you want to invest a little bit more into the program and into your account. So basically, again, probably what I would start looking to do is possibly looking at the Miranda's cards. Now, these work similarly to the ghost cards in the sense of that even if you've got a non-NFT build, so you've got no actual NFTs in there, the ghost cards and the Miranda's cards, when you apply them, they will just give a boost. So they will boost like with the trees, boost your lumber mills with the ghost cards. But with the Miranda's ones, now if you buy this individually, they whichever one you buy, so let's say like the chicken coop or the paved roads or whatever, if you buy them individually, they will give a small boost to those particular areas. But what you're looking to do is if you can get 10, that will give an overall boost right across your town. I think it's like 10% on production and a certain percentage on speed when it comes to your workers or something like that. But like I say, but the great thing is it doesn't matter what packs you buy. Basically, you just need to buy 10 of them. So you just need to buy 10 cards, the Miranda's cards, and they will just give you an overall boost to any town. So like I say, you don't even have to have any of these physical NFTs that you put in your town. You just have these, you select them, and then that's just going to give an overall boost. So again, it's massive utility. You can apply these to any town whatsoever, and they're going to give you that boost. So once after that, after the Miranda's cards, where to go next? So again, you want NFTs that are going to give the most utility. Now, so for instance, you could buy a wheat stand. Now, mine is uncommon. You can get these. They're not really cheap, but they're not really expensive either. And the great thing with that is, one, if you can stick that in the middle of 8 windmills, right in the middle of 8 windmills, that's going to supply every windmill with 2 wheat. And then, so like you've got, let's say you've got a single layer of windmills all the way around it, that's going to supply them with 2 wheat. Now you can put a second layer all the way around it. And back in the past, when I originally bought it, that would have actually given the second layer a 2 wheat as well. But then Gala nerfed it, which annoyed everybody. They nerfed all of the wheat stands, I believe. And so now that outer ring, that second ring of windmills, will only receive 1 wheat. But because wheat grows so fast, you can literally just stick like 2 fields in the corner. Make sure they've got green timers on them. Obviously, the farmer will collect them, bang them in the silo, which, obviously make sure your silo is close to your windmills. That outer ring of windmill workers or millers will come and collect that, and then that will start producing wheat as well. And because it only needs to collect 1 wheat, it speeds it up by 50%, essentially. Because, obviously, they've got to go and collect. Well, sometimes they'll have to collect wood as well if the lumberjacks don't drop it off. But most times the lumberjacks, if you've got enough lumberjacks, will essentially provide the windmills with wood. And there you go. So, and you can use that, like I say, you can use that for producing flour. So you can, like I say, put it in the center of a load of mills. That's going to help produce flour. Or what you can do is you can put that and have it surrounded by feeders, which is what I was talking about. I'm going to do in my competition build today. I'll have 8 feeders around that. That will be filling those feeders up constantly. And then basically what I generally will have, obviously I'll have a couple, some ranchers which will pick that up. But also as well, what you can have is, again, I don't know how expensive these are, but these feed bots, they will also collect the feed, take it to the trough and feed your sheep. That means if you've got those, you might only need 1 rancher, but you can then have 2 of these, and they will do the feeding, and then your rancher, all they will do is collect the wool, or they will collect the eggs, take them to the storehouse, and then and they will just keep going back and forth. But basically the feeding is all being done by these. Now, again, obviously, anything that you've got livestock in, cows, sheep, chicken, you can use these feed bots, and they will basically, like automated robots, they will collect the feed and feed your livestock. Again, I don't know how expensive these are on Harbor, on NFT Harbor, but I think if you look on LWG's marketplace, like a Warlord's marketplace, these are pretty cheap. But obviously, I would still suggest you probably go through NFT Harbor as just as a safety thing. So yeah, and you see, and basically, again, you're looking at NFTs you can use in every single, pretty much most towns that you're going to build. These NFTs are useful. And so really what I'm trying to get at is that's what you want to be looking at, is NFTs with huge amount of utility that you can use in any build, because the great thing with that is usually it's going to save you space, because like for instance with the wheat stand and me feeding, having feeders, that means I don't have to, if all I'm doing is feeding livestock, I don't need any wheat at all. I could just not have any wheat fields. But if I don't have that, I might have to have maybe 8 to 10 wheat fields in my build to be able to give enough feed to my livestock to then produce enough milk, enough wool, and enough eggs to then make sure that my town is then producing whatever else it needs to at a fast rate. So basically, like I say, not only is it useful for pretty much every single build, again, it's going to save you space. Now, I could go through this all day. I mean, like here, This is the Haunted West Wing. Now we are starting to creep up to rather high cost NFTs, but the great thing with that, essentially that will produce 2 oil. That means that you can have that right next to your refinery, and you do not need oil pumps. Therefore, again, you might need, let's say in a build, you might need anything between 2 to 6 oil pumps, depending what the build is. That, so you're producing enough fuel because you're selling a lot and stuff like that. Whereas this, stick that next to your refinery, that is just going to produce as much oil as you need. That refinery will just churn it out, and then obviously your other refinery will then produce the gasoline from the petroleum. And like I say, I can keep going through all of these, but like I say, these ghost cards, the storages I've talked about. I do like the individual storages because they can help, because it makes sure that you, if you want to have, like say, I don't know, for the Halloween one, you want your pumpkins to be right next to the is it the pottery place or the ceramic factory that produces the jack-o'-lanterns or whatever? You want that right next to them. So that means that rather than having a storehouse that you've got to put, just say, in the middle of a build, because it's not only having pumpkins put in there, but it's having milk put in there, it's having other stuff put in there, wool put in there, whatever, and everything's being shared. You can have this storage here, stick that right next to where you want it to be, and the only thing that's going to go in there is pumpkins. And that means it will hold up to 10 pumpkins, and there's going to be no problem. You're not going to overflow your other storehouses, your generic storehouses with pumpkins, because they're only going to go in there. And the cool thing with that, even if you're overproducing pumpkins, the most it can hold is 10. Admittedly, you can end up with a bit of overflow going into your other storehouse, but if that's the case, then you can just set it to auto sell. But the target is that it's going right next to the building you want it to be going to, so again, it speeds things up. So the last one I'm going to talk to you about is this one. Now, this is what I've just recently bought. If we click on that, and I like this because, again, it has good utility. So it cost me $9.99. It says here, tailored for new players joining Common Ground World. Inside this great town hall, plans are made. Start your journey, heads up. The building casts 1 passive water. So with that, what you can do is you could actually put this in the middle of, say, a group of 4 lumber mills. Now, I think to produce lumber, it actually needs 2 water, or it might only be 1 water. No, I think it is 1 water. So that means, I think it's 2 energy, but 1 water. So that means you can have that in the middle of 4 lumber mills. That means you've just saved a bit of time there, because they've not got to go and collect any water. Obviously, a lot of time you would put a lumber mill next to water pumps anyway to make them passive for water. But in the event of you can't do that, you can stick this right next to them, and this will help with the water and speed up your production of lumber. And then basically it makes builders and farmers from the farmhouse faster. So basically your farmers, if you suddenly upgrade them to tractors, they will no longer receive that speed up, but your builders will still be moving quicker. So obviously that's great for building your town, because it means they will move faster, therefore build your town faster. And then it also decreases the time on tree farms and wheat fields take to grow. NFT is unstackable. So when it says unstackable, I'm guessing if you've already got things like the Great Woodlands Ghost card, then it makes no difference. But if you don't have that, that means that by having this NFT, it's going to speed up your farmers before you turn them into tractors. And then it's also going to speed up your builders. It's going to speed up your tree farms if you don't have the ghost card, like I just said. But it'll also speed up your wheat fields as well. So the great thing with that is, again, it's an NFT that you can just stick anywhere, or in any town, should I say, and you can just literally stick it in a corner. It doesn't need to be well, probably maybe it has to be next to a road, but you don't need to put it next to any particular buildings unless obviously you want to use it to supply your lumber mills with water. Then obviously it's got to be next to the lumber mills. But other than that, if you just want it as a speed boost, you can shove that in a corner so it doesn't affect the rest of your town, and it's just going to give those boosts. So like I say, I know I keep sort of saying the same thing, but it's what I'm trying to say is as a player, if you're buying NFTs, you want to be looking at the ones that are going to give you the most utility, that you can use in as many towns as possible. That's where you're going to, that's why, for me, buying those bespoke NFTs that are only useful in one build or in very limited builds, I just don't see the point. Well, I do see the point, obviously, because it gives you that boost, but at the same time, you want to get the most for your money. You want to get as much use out of these NFTs if you're going to invest into buying them as possible. And that is what I do. I have only bought NFTs that are useful in game as well. And my other advice is don't buy NFTs looking to make huge amounts of money off them. Obviously I know a lot of sellers that I've bought from, and they probably do make a nice bit of profit, but I think they spend a lot of time looking for these NFTs that have been listed rather cheaply, mistakenly listed rather cheaply as well, probably. And and if they're lucky and they come across some of the really good NFTs or useful NFTs that they happen to find that are going for really cheap, they can buy them and then sell them on and make a profit. But for me, I just think I would sooner buy NFTs purely for me to use in the game and that they're going to improve my gameplay rather than spending a lot of time surfing the different markets just trying to find NFTs to sell. For me, it's just not worth it. I just wouldn't use that or do that, because like I say, I'm more interested in just buying NFTs that I can use. Like, again, as a final thing, I did buy this. This is the second NFT I bought recently. This is an Epic gasoline refinery. Now, the great thing with this is it actually produces gasoline faster than a normal refinery. With my Miranda's boosts and stuff like that, this produces gasoline within 18 seconds. I think a normal refinery with my Miranda's boosts will produce gasoline at 23 seconds. So this is 5 seconds faster than the standard refinery, even with the Miranda's boosts. But because you need fuel for every single build, that is another reason why I bought this. I had the money, obviously the Gala, in my account, and I purchased that. But the other great thing is, because this produces gasoline direct from crude oil, that means I can stick my I can put my haunted house right next to this, and then have one power station, my pump, and a pond. Or if obviously you've got water, which we generally do now, we have like a lake or something, you can put the pump direct into the lake. Then you can and basically, rather than taking up 6 squares or 6 small tiles, my fuel depot now only takes up 4. So that means I've gained back 2 more tiles that I can put other stuff on. And also it has huge utility because I can use it in every single meta and every single town I produce. And that is personally, that is what I think people should be looking at. That is what people should be doing. These single-use NFTs that are very expensive, that you might only use once every few months or once every 6 months, whereas I can use mine in pretty much every single meta and competition I use. I personally feel that my choice of NFTs is a much better way to go and a much wiser way to spend your money. But obviously that is my opinion, and only my opinion. So yeah, so that's basically the best advice I can give you, especially for new players that are looking to get into the game and possibly somewhere down the line looking to buy NFTs in the future. Okay, so on a final thing, we're just going to quickly look at the this week's competition. So if we go into games, click on play. Obviously this is going to load up Common Ground World. So this week's competition, which is the 26th of March 2024, we are looking at here, which is the pedal to the metal, which is basically you got to build as many bicycles in Santa's factory and then sell them off. And that is basically what the competition is today. As you can see here, we have 1 hour and 1 minute left. So it's, according to my clock on my computer, it's 15:58. Probably getting to close to 15:59, obviously. And then we'll come in here, click in that, and then obviously the competition will start. Now, basically, if you are a new player and you don't have any NFTs, what I would suggest is drop into YouTube, go along to Dubstep Rod's channel. He has created or is showing a really great non-NFT build, and that will just give you a really good starting point. Obviously, if you've played, even if you have no NFTs, but you have a bit of experience with Townstar, you might well be able to look at that build and go, I can improve that. So I think he's saying it will make about 7 bicycles per hour. I've looked at it and I definitely can see that there are tweaks and changes that you can instantly make to that to improve that build. So like I say, if you are looking, if if you're not that experienced, especially with these this particular meta, go along to Dubstep Rod's channel on YouTube and check out that build. He will explain everything about it, tell you what you need, and then obviously at the end of the video he shows the final build. But that is a great starting point. He has a great channel, just like I mentioned as well, like and Warlord. If you want to know the ins and outs of what's going on with that legal stuff, go and check out his channel. And also as well, a final big shout out to Dubstep Rod for once again producing the Townstar playbook. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there, and if you are interested in that how-to playlist, it's probably on your screen right now. So get clicking and get watching. And if you can smash that like button, it really does support my channel, which then helps me make more content to help you. So take care, have a great rest of your week, and good luck in the competition, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.